Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how to switch between different pages within one site, and also I'll show you how to embed things from other sites in your site, which we'll do with actually embedding YouTube videos. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll do this through making a sort of top, like best of list sort of site. So I'm going to call this activity 3 best of. I just put that in I put the title in the place where I should have been choosing HTML. All right, here we go. Activity 3 best of. Create my new REPL. And first I'm just going to, on my index.html, I'm just going to create a home page. By the way, index.html is the sort of default for the first page you land on when you go to a website. And the reason for that is just that's just sort of the default that servers are set to point you to. Servers tend to send index.html. That's usually the first page that you get when you request something from a web server. So that's just sort of the default option. We're going to be adding more HTML files here, and we'll give those other names. So the name of this HTML file is relevant, and you'll see where it comes in a moment. For now, I'm just going to set up my home page. So I want this to kind of be a best of site, like favorite YouTube videos, because I'm going to get rid of the JavaScript for now because we're not really working with JavaScript today. Because the internet is filled with plenty of pet videos, I'm going to make mine about that. So I'll add a heading. I'll say top 3 pet videos on YouTube. And that'll be my H1 tag, that'll be my main heading. And for my landing page, I'll probably just have I'm going to have some links for navigation, and I'm going to have just sort of a landing page picture. So first of all, the links for navigation. What I'm gonna set up the links for all of the pages, all of the other pages, and you'll see where it goes in a moment. The first thing I'm going to do is set up a few different anchor tags. So I'll say href equals, and then I'm just going to say video1.html. Now this doesn't exist yet, but later we're going to create a video1.html. So I'll just call for the text that I'll put here, I'll just say 1, because I want to just keep this kind of simple. And then I'm just going to kind of copy paste this. Change this to video 2 with a 2. And video 3 with a 3. So that's going to end up being some navigation options that will let you link to all the other pages that we're going to set up internally. It's not a link to an outside website. It's a link to pages, other HTML pages that will be on the same server, accessible from this one. And then I want to add I want to just add a picture for the landing page, so I'll add an image tag. And I believe I have a picture. Let me upload my picture. Cats and dogs .jfif. Oops, there we go. So you'll see right now, the way it's set up, the text is actually aligned to the right of the picture, and I don't really want it to be like that. Like the links are aligned to the right of the picture, because these things, it's just the way HTML, it's just the way the browser is interpreting the HTML code. It's the way it does that with images. They're interpreted. They're just placed in line with other things. They don't add a line break. So you can actually manually enter a line break. There's a tag for that. So what I'm going to do is, right after all of my anchor tags, I'm going to do br/, and that forces a line break. And then I'm also going to put a different type of navigation as well, so that these will navigate you directly to each place. Actually, I should add one more, because I would like to be able to navigate back to home. So I'm going to add one more link here. I'm going to copy my first link, and I'll say index.html. Now just make that one say home. And I prefer having a space in between them, so I'll put a space right here. So you'll notice that it adds one space. One thing I should point out about HTML that I haven't really mentioned yet is that HTML collapses empty space. So if I add a whole bunch more space, it doesn't show up in the site. I just refreshed it. That it's not there. It'll put one space in between elements. However, if you want more space than that, you would have to use other strategies. And there are ways to add spaces. I'm going to get into that. Similar to adding that line break, you can insert space, but generally spacing is actually done with CSS. So the reason I'm not going to get into it now is because saving CSS for later. We'll get into CSS pretty soon, but generally styling, things like arrangement and spacing, color, all of that, font, all those things are usually handled by CSS. So rather than get into how you can do a sort of mediocre job of it with HTML, I'm going to save that for CSS, and I'll just leave this as it is. But I do want to add, I would like to add one more thing at the bottom, which will be some navigation, a different style of navigation. Right, so this is sort of, you can navigate directly. I'll also do a sort of just so you can kind of see different ways of navigating between pages on the same website. It's just kind of a different design choice. I'm going to say I'll do a sort of next and previous. In this case, it's home, so there is no previous, but I'll do I'll say video1.html. And I'll say next. Yeah, I'll just use text. So say next. Right, and so this next button will end up leading. Oh, it's also this one again is it's going to need a line break if I want to separate that image. So there's a next button, and then when there is a previous page, I'll add a previous button. So you can see sort of linked, sort of sequential navigation, as well as just being able to choose where you want to go. So here's my home page. Really, every page is going to be laid out exactly the same way. So actually, all I'm going to do is I'll copy this layout and then edit a few things on it, like replacing the image with an embedded video and editing a little bit about the navigation. But really, one of the main things I wanted to point out was just how you go about sort of creating new HTML files, and the fact that they can be linked together and they can be navigated to within the same website. So what I'll need, because I'm creating video 1, video 2, and video 3 pages, I'm going to need to create those files. So I'm going to add a file. I'm going to call it video1.html. And I'll add another one for video 2. And a third one. And I am just going to copy. Oh, I did forget to edit my title. So this is going to be top 3 pet videos. That is not a 3. And copy this, and I'll go to my video 1 and paste it. And a lot of this is going to stay the same, so I'm just going to leave my title the same. That this is the title of the entire site. And I'm actually I'll keep my sort of top heading the same. For video 1, I will add a subheading. I'll do a slightly smaller one. And I found a cats versus cucumbers video that I'm going to add from YouTube. And instead of this image tag, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go to YouTube. I already have it pulled up. I'll just bring the tab over so you can see it. I found this cat, so you can do the same thing for your videos. Just find a video that you like, and YouTube actually conveniently provides the ability to embed its videos. If you click on share, there's this embed. Notice it has the HTML tag sort of angle brackets there. It just gives you the code for embedding something, and the tag is called an iFrame. An iFrame is how an iFrame tag is it's like an internal frame. It's I believe that's what it stands for. Just double check iFrame tag HTML. What does iFrame stand for again? inline frame. Inline frame. So it just is a way to embed another thing from another. It's a way to embed another another page, another document from somewhere else, some other web page onto your own web page. So what I'll do is it's already what I need. I'm not sure if now if it is. It's inline, so it's called an inline frame. I'm assuming it's an inline. I don't actually remember off the top of my head if it's an inline element. So elements are either block elements or they're inline elements, and what that means is they either sort of fill an entire space on the page, or they go in line with things. So for example, a heading like an H1 is a block element, and that fills up this whole top space, and the next thing that you place in the web page will have a line skip. It'll have a line break built in. There'll just be a new line. Whereas something like an anchor tag, you can put anchor tags in lines, like in the middle of your text. You can be typing, just a bunch of text, and you could just put an anchor tag in there and turn it into a link. So you can have a link in line with all of your text. And I think if it's called an inline frame, I think it's inline. So I would probably need to manually put the break in there. But let's just see what happens if I get rid of the break, because I kind of want to see. I want to see for sure. So let me paste that link. Let me paste that. Oops, I accidentally. Yeah, I actually just hit Control C instead of Control V. So I've got to go back and get my cat video. Sorry about that. Alright, so I've got my cat video again. I'll put it right here. And so the inline frame specifies a width and a height. You could modify that if you wanted to. It specifies the source of the object that's going to be placed into your web page, and a few other things that just tell the browser how to handle the video. And YouTube gives you those gives you those pieces of information by default. I'm not going to get into the details of what all this includes. Because really just want to point out that you can use iFrame to embed things. You can actually embed things like Google Maps. You can embed entire web pages in your own web page with an iFrame. So now that I've got this, let me just see what happens if I run it without the line break. Yeah, interesting. Well, it might have just pushed. Because the thing is, it's a large video. It goes all the way to the edge of the screen. It may have actually just pushed stuff out of the way. I kind of want to see what happens if I expand the screen. Ah, there we go. See, it was in line. So the next button jumped down. Yeah, jumped down because the screen was so small. So if I want to make sure that the next button is down there, I do need to have that line break in there, which I thought would be the case because it's called an inline frame, I figured it would be an inline element. Wanted to be sure by testing it out. Okay, so here's my. I've got my navigation on top. I've got my embedded video. I can actually play the video of cats being afraid of cucumbers. I can also change. I want to change my top navigation is going to stay the same, but my alternate navigation I kind of need to change because next is not video 1. Next is video 2, and also I can add a previous. Because now that exists. That would be video 1. And then the rest of the pages are actually going to be, I'm going to run that again. The rest of the pages are going to be, we're just really similar to this. I just need to add some different videos and add some different navigation. So video 2, it's going to be an awful lot like video 1, except the title, so cats versus cucumbers. I'll say, let's see, do you remember Vine? The internet does, and I'll add some Vine videos. And I'll just replace the iFrame with the iFrame from the other video. I'll change my navigation so that previous is 2, next is 3, and then I'll do the same for my last page. We'll need to recopy. The internet is really obsessed with cats. I'll set video previous is video 2. And instead of next, I'll say home. Change this to index.html. So if I run the whole thing, what I've got top 3 pet videos on YouTube. I've got my different ways of navigating. I should probably put a space in between these, but I'll just demonstrate that it works. I won't spend any more time demonstrating here, but you can see that it's navigating from one page to the next. You can also choose individual pages. So as you can see, the iFrame is embedding videos, and the navigation from page to page within my own website is doing just that. It's using anchor tags to connect, to make the connections between different HTML files that are on my own site. So that's all for this video. I look forward to seeing your video compilations.